record. We are now recording. We'll go ahead and call this Blackberry Jam Festival Committee meeting to order at 7:03 p.m. on March 4th. For the volunteer members, if you could just hang back for just a few moments while the executive committee members go ahead and approve the agenda and the minutes from the last meeting. So I'll go ahead and call the roll. Committee member Marisi.
Here.
Committee member Thompson.
Here.
Committee member Wild.
Here.
And Chairman Drott is excused due to an excused absence. So the first thing that we have is consent agenda, approval of the minutes for the February 17, 2021 meeting. These minutes were included in the agenda packet. Do any of the committee members have any questions or corrections?
No, it looks good.
Okay, I'll go ahead and entertain a motion to approve the minutes from the February 17, 2021 meeting.
I'll motion to approve the minutes.
I have a motion. Is there a second?
Sure, I'll second that. Go ahead, George.
I'll second it. Okay.
Motion is properly moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 The motion carries. Second item on the agenda is to continue discussion from the committee's February 17, 2021 meeting on alternative events that we could host in 2021. Just to recap from the other members, the executive committee approved a motion to cancel the festival this year, but to generate some ideas and to come back within 2 weeks' time, which is today, to discuss ideas for other events that we could hold. And I think it'd be great to have just a conversational, informal discussion about this. Who would like to kick things off?
I will kick things off. I set up a suggestion box over at Bridgetown Market, and I got surprisingly a lot of people suggested different things that we might do, like an art in the park, a dog parade, dog show, a 5K, a 10K race, a family fun day with lots of activities for the kids, regular parades they would like to see, and I had quite a few comments about having a car show, and then also a worship in the park with some kind of with the worship music and a minister, and that was all within the last 2 weeks that I had at the store.
Cool.
I was thinking we could do a pie auction. All different kinds of pies, and set it up, all so that the people would sit, spaced out in chairs, out in the open air.
Now, are we able to do food?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Well, I don't know. You could work it either way. A pie auction where they just buy the pie and take it home.
Oh, okay. All right.
Or you could, you can have some pie off to the side just to sell by the slice. And as you line up for things, you line up, 6 feet apart.
Yeah.
By July, it may be way big. You can get, relatively close together and not kill each other. We'll see how it goes. But, July is quite a ways away. So.
Sorry, could you, Jeremy, Lon sent out a calendar with suggested dates on it, and I couldn't print it at all. Do you have a copy of that so we could at least pencil those in now, and that will give us some kind of an idea what he was thinking as regards activities.
Sure, I'll pull
Schedule.
that up and I'll pull it up under screen share. I saw that Rusty had her hand up and as we're talking, if folks have an idea and want to raise your hand, I'll recognize you after the next person. So Rusty, if you want to go ahead and jump in there, and while you're talking, I'll pull up this calendar that Lon sent so that I can share it whenever you're done talking. Okay, so go right
Okay.
ahead.
Thank you. I'll start out just by introducing myself because I think I only made one meeting last year and then haven't been at any this year. But I'm Rusty and I'm the manager of Banner Bank in Pleasant Hill and Oak Ridge. And so I'm just trying to get involved in the community. And I was just hoping for a little clarification because if the Blackberry Jam is usually in July, is that correct?
Yes.
So with that being canceled, the events that you're trying to plan, are you trying to plan stuff that is less contact oriented or looking at planning it for later in the summer? Just kind of so I have a feel of what it is that we're trying to accomplish. Because I'm assuming it was canceled due to COVID.
Right.
Yeah. We're trying to plan on something like once a month, sometimes twice a month, just daily events that we can control.
Yeah, and trying to keep it small within the community kind of a thing.
Okay. And are we looking for fundraisers or just more something for the community?
Well, I think
Go ahead, George.
it was really for the community at this point. Fundraising is going to be very difficult with the short spread of time we have, particularly if everything is not going to be on 1 day or 2 days. And the idea, of course, was to spread it out over several 2 a month or 1 a month or something like that, just to create some activity for the community itself, because we have to be careful about bringing in quote a lot of outsiders. That sounds cruel, but you know what I'm saying, because there again we have an infectious risk as well, because we're still going to have to be masked up, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
But the idea is to kind of have something for the community, you know, trying to organize fundraisers and booths, etc., is really not going to work, I don't feel, because it takes a lot of time to set those things up, and how a vendor's not going to come for 2 or 3 hours, and we don't know what kind of a crowd. So it's how I see it, as we spoke before, was to have some kind of activity for the surrounding base that Blackberry Jam serves locally. Like Tony was saying, some of those ideas could possibly work.
So one other thing, I just wanted the car show idea. We have done a few car shows here in Oak Ridge, and it's been a while, and they were always very popular. So one of the things you could do with that might make it a little less populated is do a car cruise through Lowell, and then they could stop maybe in one location and, you know, separate themselves out for people to view their vehicles. But if you did the cruise, it would be somewhat of easier. People could stay in their homes, sit on their porches. Lowell is a fairly small enough community that you may be able to plan the cruise throughout most of the community. So that might be an easy one.
Go ahead, George.
Okay, being a car guy and heavily involved in the car shows and the classic car clubs, that is a very good idea. We've done several of them during this COVID situation, and they've been well received. And that, I think, would be better than a car show, because guys, when they go to a car show, they want to win a prize. Their ego is somewhat large for some of them. And this would alleviate that. I came here and I didn't get a piece of pie and I didn't get a prize, you know. So I think that is an excellent idea. And what if you think that's a good idea, I'll take it to our board and see if they will take that on as their project to operate a car cruise around Lowell. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah. Yes, I agree.
I do too.
Mm-hmm. And also, were we still thinking of doing movies in the park?
That's still on the table.
Okay, good, because I had people request that also.
Go ahead, George.
Could you, at this point, could you give us that calendar? That may help us. We're now throwing out ideas that seem viable.
Sure, stand by and I'll share my screen with you. Does everybody see that?
Yes,
And what are the dates? I can't read the dates.
Okay, so this is a calendar that Lon put together of
That's-
potential event days. And the first one we're looking at is April. And we have Saturday, the 10th marked off as a potential first event date. Does anybody have any thoughts about that?
I won't be able to make it. I'll be in California for a wedding. So that's
We'll
that's
have to, we'll have
that's
to
the only
cancel,
day I
Tony.
have conflict with. All the rest are good. Yeah, but it does.
I had some other ideas to throw out there. You want to hear those, Jeremy?
Go ahead, Monica.
Okay, one that I saw was Arts and Crafts Display Day, where people put their arts and crafts either like out by the driveway or in the window. And people drive by and they can either hand out business cards where they could go and buy things, or do a community garage sale, craft sale kind of a thing. Another one was sidewalk chalk drawing contest where the kids could get involved.
Oh, that sounds cool.
Then somebody was mentioning a family kind of thing, but doing like a family friend software tournament picnic kind of a day.
Okay.
And then a geocaching or treasure hunt. And then I did have 5 or 6 vendors respond that they would be willing to set up for short events if we want vendors out there.
You said you had how many vendors?
5 or 6 of them.
And what kind of wares are they selling?
Let me check it. Some of them were jewelry. I can pop that up here real quick and see. I marked which ones wanted to. And about 3 of them or 4 of them were local, then a couple were from like Eugene and Springfield. Gotta wait till the cell decides to open up here.
Okay.
But those are ideas that I was kicking around anyway for us.
Okay.
It's still loading here.
So
Okay, let's see. I had, this one here sells fabric, bags, purses, and items like that. This one is jewelry, another jewelry, nail polish strips.
okay.
What's that one there? Soaps and items like that. That one says tie dyeing and handcrafted bath and body works.
Okay.
They said they could just pretty much throw out a table and wouldn't have to worry about setting up a whole booth.
Okay. All right. So I've got the calendar pulled up again. Rusty, I see your hand raised. I just want to ask anybody if there are any thoughts while I have this pulled up on kicking things off the second week of April. Is there something that we could pull off during that time frame, or do we need to push it out to May?
It seems like April's pretty quick. I mean, that's a month away. And what type of restrictions would you have to have still in April as far as people gathering? Would there have to be a lot of monitoring of how many people you had at the event, or do we know?
Right now, it's still pretty strict for outdoor social gatherings. I think the last guidance from the state, even in the high category, is no more than 6 people recommended, no more than 2 households.
Yeah.
April might be a little early yet.
weather too is still not real.
Yeah,
comfortable.
Yeah.
that's what I was
George,
thinking
answer.
too.
Well, what I was thinking of, then again, we didn't get the rest of the dates down, but April, it might be the easiest thing, I don't know, there again, to have a movie because it's going dark early and people could social distance on the grass. And as we move further into the summer, then hopefully the restrictions are more eased, where we could have some of the events that appear to be kind of mingling, purchasing material and so forth. I don't know. I'm just thinking.
Is it gonna be
Well-
warm enough though, George, to have a movie in the park?
Well, you could look together, keep warm.
Yeah, or get rained on?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
rainy in April.
It's rainy every month.
Yeah, this is Oregon.
I think Lisa has a comment or about the quilt show. Do you want to talk about that, Lisa?
Sure. Good evening, everybody. I know I haven't been around much, but I wanted to field any questions about the quilt show. As most of you know, last year we did hold a quilt show. Even though the jam was canceled, we did our outdoor show and it was really successful. So I'm hoping that the City of Lowell and the Blackberry Jam Committee will support once again either an indoor or an outdoor show this year. Last year, we did try to keep it on the same weekend that the jam would have been on for consistency. And our tentative plan is to do that once again. The only question is indoors or outdoors. And as I'm seeing things loosen a bit, and I thought that what I'd read lately was indoors, 25% of capacity. We've been in the Lundy gym, don't know what the capacity there is, but in the indoor space, we can pretty much keep people easily 6 feet apart in masks and have our team of volunteers who can make sure everybody stays safe. We can also go outdoors again and do a drive-through. We're capable of doing either or. So we would love to continue to be part of this, what the city's planning and the Blackberry Jam is planning, and do something for the community. We do have a little bit further of a reach, but I still think we can keep safe with the way we'll run it, indoors or outdoors. And we also, as most of you know, do a heavy fundraising effort as well. So that didn't change last year. We weren't going to let COVID get in our way. So we're just going to keep on going because our volunteers are amazing. So depending on what the city feels and the jam feels, we would like to continue on.
I think it's a good idea.
So do I. Yes.
So one of the questions I had this year was, we've been in multiple locations. We've been in the Grange for many years, and then we moved to Lundy because we were kind of expanding. And then we used the Maggie Osgood parking lot for the outdoor show. And some of our gals wondered if we might move into the new gym this year as a way to not only highlight the gym, but it's really good parking out there. It'd be more visible for the community maybe. But we're open to ideas on location. And again, indoors or outdoors, we can make it happen. We are also hoping for, if there's the capability of either the Lane County Tourism Grant or other funding, we are still continuing to build our structure for the quilt show. The city has been instrumental in helping us with buying things and the structure and the things that we hang the quilts on. And this year, what we're looking for is these things that are called black drapes that hang on the post, because we like to, if we're an indoor show, we like to hang quilts on both sides of the structure. And to have these black drapes, it makes each quilt on either side look great. We are starting down the path. We've made a few, but it's hard. So anyway, each year we try to add something to make the show a little more professional. And if that were to happen, we'd love to do that this year as well. Anybody have any questions or concerns or?
Mr. George?
I think it's a great idea, and I think it would be great to have it in the new gym if that was possible with the school, of course. I think that would be excellent. There again, it's you'd be able to keep the traffic moving inside with your volunteers. I don't see an issue as far as the Blackberry Jam is concerned. There again, one of the issues we do have is we had so many things for Blackberry Jam planned on the 3 days. There again, we need to see about spreading them out. What other things are we looking to perhaps have that would be taking part really in that day? I'm thinking about the horseshoes, for instance. How does that stack up? You know, there again, a little bit disappointing that we don't have some of these people online with us tonight that would help us kind of plan some of this. But there again, I think to have the cult show in the gym would be great. My first thought originally was about the car show, thinking we should have that on the same day. However, if we have a car cruise, then we can work it differently. But then again, you got to think about what other car clubs are doing, because we have a strong calendar throughout the summer. Different clubs having different car shows on particular days. And the last weekend in July is always designated as the Blackberry Jam car show. So some of those things we need to kind of look at. I'll check on the car show situation on the cruise and see if we can't have it on a different day. And that would help the quilt show, I would think. We don't
And
have too much traffic.
I would agree. If we're looking for a variety of community events to run throughout the summer, we probably, two thoughts, one is don't compete with each other, have them all individual on different weekends.
Yeah.
The other is throw them all in together, but since that decision has been made that we can't do that, then spreading them apart so there's always something going on might be fun. So indoors or outdoors for us would be critical. We can do a 1-day show. We can do a 2-day show if it's indoors. So we do need the Pine Needlers Quilt Group, which is who runs the show basically. We do need to nail down the date pretty quick. At this point, we're planning on Saturday, July 24th or 24th and 25th if it's a 2-day. So we do pretty much need to have that happen pretty quick so we can move forward.
Well, we haven't put anything else on that date yet, right?
No.
So why can't we just go ahead and say we'll have the quilt show on those dates? It's not filled up as far as I know.
Well, that's the only thing we've spoken about so far, really.
Uh-huh. So why don't we run with that one?
Go ahead, Jerry.
And I think indoor is much better because the drive-through quilt show last year had a few problems with wind.
With the wind, yeah, it was windy.
So I mean, if we could get a place, set up for that weekend and do a 2-day show, we could also make more money to donate back. So. Right, you're not dependent on the weather.
I'm sorry, your sound is a little fuzzy on your end, Jerry.
It's probably my voice. It's fuzzy.
It's her voice.
And saying that an indoor show, I believe, would be our preference.
Right.
So if we
Indoor
could
show.
Down a place, that would be helpful.
I would definitely ditto that. The indoor show is our preference. Wind is our enemy. And if it weren't for 4 very strong guys, we might not have made it last year. So we would prefer to be indoors. And everything I'm reading is, we already, even now, could probably it's not like, unfortunately, hundreds of people come to the show at once. So we're pretty sure we can manage those. If that were to happen, it'd be a great problem and we'll manage it. But I think indoors we can be safe.
Rusty, go ahead. You had your hand up.
I was just curious on the advertising for the events, if you talking about doing multiple on the same weekend or spreading them out. When you spread them out, you're talking a lot of advertising and different times that you've got to advertise, and people have to remember they have all these different events to come to. So there might be a little bit of a advantage to having at least, if you're looking at a full weekend, having at least 2 events on the same time, so that you get more benefit for the advertising. I had read where Mr. Ray is going to offer through the new newspaper, which is awesome, but advertising has always been an issue, I know, for us in Oak Ridge, and I'm assuming probably in Lowell as well. So when you're talking about doing an event every single month, we might want to be thinking about that piece of it, of how do you get your best bang for your buck if it's just one event to get people to come.
Where we're trying to keep it local with, sticking it in the bridge is probably one of the main features, list all the events for the summer.
Okay.
Because we don't want too many people coming from outside.
Oh, okay. Okay, so you're not hoping to bring people in. Gotcha.
Right, because of COVID, we're trying to keep it limited.
Gotcha.
Right, George?
But plus the fact we don't have any books at this time, because normally we have all our sponsors taken care of, and that's where we get the funding to run the thing. And the original plan was to do it, keep it local, because we didn't want to bring a large influx of people because of the situation. And of course, financing is a big issue. I did ask that we may have a rundown on what our finances are, because some people requested to hold over what they donated for future events. So I don't know. I know there's not much money, and we rely on the sponsors to fund the whole thing, so it's a bit questionable, So unfortunately, we're in a bit of a pickle, if that's the word to use.
Okay, George, I know you asked about the financial statements for the Blackberry Jam Fund, and I'm actually trying to find that right now. So if anybody else who hasn't spoken, or anybody who has any other ideas, if you want to jump in there while I'm looking this up, feel free to go ahead and do so.
I have a thought for May, if we're ready to think about May.
Go ahead.
I think for May, it would be kind of fun if we could figure out a way to do something around planting flowers. And I don't know how exactly that would look, but it would be nice to be able to have have seeds available for people to pick up, maybe have station where they could plant pots, that type of thing. Just because May Day is always, a big flower thing. So I thought, well, if there was a way to incorporate something to do with flowers, plants, getting people into the idea of spring.
Okay.
Okay.
Is the high school going to have their plant sale? Do we know, Jerry? Does high school usually have a plant sale too? No one knows.
No.
So Rusty, would you like to maybe develop some more ideas on that and shoot it to us, and we can run it by the executive committee and see if
Sure. We have a fairly active garden club here in Oak Ridge, so I can see if maybe they would have some ideas as well. And they do a plant sale every year here, with people just donate the plants and stuff. So it's actually more not of a plant share, maybe, instead of a sell, where people could bring their extra plants from their homes and other people can take them or bring it, leave them, that type of thing. So I can talk around and see if I can come up with something.
Okay. And Lisa needs to jump off the call here, and I misspelled her name like 2 different times.
Oh, and Tony is spelled with a Y.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Good night.
Hey, excuse me, I have a question. I'm Dean Ray. I'm the reporter that covers Lowell and Pleasant Hill for the new newspaper. I need some help. I need to know what the name of the quilt show is. It's sponsored by
Gary,
who?
The quilt group, our name is the Pine Needlers.
I'm sorry, I cannot hear you.
The
Pine-
pine,
The name
pine needlers, pine needlers.
Needlers. Pine.
Could somebody spell that for me? I can't hear that.
I'll spell.
Go on,
Pine,
Lorna.
Pine, P-I-N-E, And then-
CINE?
no,
Tree.
P-I-N-E, like pine tree. Pine
Okay,
needlers. So spell needle and then put a E-R-S on it.
LURS. And
Yes,
that, is that located in Lowell?
yes,
We're the Lowell Quilting Group. Yes.
yes.
And I need Rusty's last name, if she'd be so kind.
Ackland, A-C-K-L-A-N-D.
That's H is in Henry, ACKLAND.
No, A is an apple.
Yeah, HACKLAND.
A-C-K-L-A-N-D.
Oh, AC.
Yeah, no H in front.
Okay. And you're from Oak Ridge?
I live in Oak Ridge, yes, and I manage the Banner Bank here and the one in Pleasant Hill.
Hey, thank you.
You're welcome. What, Jeremy, what's the date for May that you guys are looking?
Well, let me go back to the calendar and to share that with everybody. Stand by.
Yeah.
Looks like May Day is
Yeah,
one
May-
and the 22nd.
Yes,
So-
that's what I have. Yes.
So Lon Drott, he suggested May 1st and May 22nd. And again, these are just suggestions. We don't have to go by this. If there are any other ideas.
Well, that sounds good.
I think on the 22nd of May would be a good time to do like a 5K, a 10K race with other activities going on too in the village.
Does anyone know, I haven't looked at my other calendar, but does Memorial Day fall the weekend? Will it be the 28th and 29th or probably the 28th, 29th, huh?
Yes, it is. It's the
Yeah.
30th and 31st, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
So am I hearing that we want to shoot for May 22nd as the first community event?
I don't see why we couldn't do May 1st also. Do the dates that he's got already, the 1st and the 22nd.
Okay.
If we can get the plant thing lined up for the first.
Yeah, or we can do like the parades, like an opening of the summer with a parade going through town, like maybe a dog parade, a regular parade. People decorate their cars or whatever. And just to get people out and about and let them know what's going on. Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to pull up our financial statements